Good morning. Welcome back to Passionate Oral Talk Radio Network to educate, to enlighten, and to entertain with your host and veteran podcaster, Lillian Caldwell. And today we're going to be talking about, or the daily tip I'm going to offer you, is about finding your topic. Now, there are all kinds of topics one can choose to do a podcast on. What are the ingredients? Well, if you really just don't know, or you don't really have any basic idea, the first thing that I would suggest is for you to go over to Google and ask what are the most important or sought after topics one can use in their podcast. And this is what I found. Entertainment is always number one. People are always want information what's going on in Hollywood with their famous actors or actresses, directors, producers. They want to know any scandals, any gossip. You can arrange to do interviews with them if that's what you want. But make sure before you start looking for the topics, you know what you want to do when you get on the air. Just opening your mouth and having words fall out from your tongue and your cleft palate just doesn't do the trick. You have to have a focused presentation on what you want to share with your audience. You might think that shock, jock mentality is still a rage, but it's already been done by the best in the trade. So I will insert this note. Please do not use curse words because podcasts are what they are. You really don't know who is listening. And are not going to show up and listen to it anyway. How do I know this? Come on. When I was 14, 15, I got a friend who was older than I was, and she got me in to see the picture show with the R rating, restrictive rating on. And I saw all kinds of movies that I probably shouldn't have been able to see, but those were more innocent days. Or the case when drinking beer and alcohol, especially in states where the drinking age was 18 or 19 and not 21, and you would have a false ID created so you could present in a bar, and a bar's most of the time dimly lit, or they were in my day. So the guy or the gal who was behind the bar really couldn't see who you were, or all they saw was that you were allowed to drink. So on that note, be careful of what you say, because you never know who is listening. And in our society today, with all the cameras and videos being run 24/7, it's your job to make sure that you keep your mouth clean. You certainly don't want to say anything that offends people, unless that's the type of show you are creating. So outside of let me entertain you, there's music, true crime, politics, history, fiction, nonfiction, society, culture, technology, education, comedy, and sports. And then when you get your topic, then you want to think about what you're going to say about that topic, because that topic as it is way too broad for what you want to cover. So you have to put on your thinking cap, literally, or any kind of cap will do, and sit in the corner and think about who your target audience is, because that's your number one clue. If you don't know who you're talking to, then you're going to be all over that map. You're going to get lost into the great swamps in New Jersey, never to be seen again. Don't laugh. When my father used to take shortcuts coming from New York City back to New Jersey, he would always invent quick fixes to avoid the traffic. And most of the time, what was usually a 45-minute to 1 hour drive turned into a 4 or 5 hour venture, because it was dark, he was tired, and need I go on? So make sure that you narrow down or niche down your topic to where you can handle it. specifically to an audience. How do I know this? Because our content is always targeted at a specific audience. Our information that is provided on PWTRN's podcasts are followed by followers who made it a point to always follow because they enjoyed the information being shared with them, because the host spent their time making sure that the information they wrote up on and then presented was what the audience wanted to hear. So don't waste your audience time, and certainly don't waste your time. Narrow down your topic. And speaking of podcasting, on June 11th, which is Tuesday, and June 13th, which is a Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, subtract or add your hours. If you're overseas, 5 hours plus. If you're Mountain Time, 2 hours. Pacific Time, 3 hours. Alaska and Hawaii's on their own hours. And well, you get the idea. If you don't know, Google it. Learn how to use Google properly, or Firefox. Whatever browser works for you, you can find any type of information. You just have to ask the right question with the right keyword or phrase in it, or noun, so that you can find what you want and then narrow it down so that it is your ideal target. So when you throw a dart at a dartboard, the idea is to get it into the zero space, because that means you have a keen eye that's coordinated with your keen arm. And depending whether you throw it overhand or underhand, very few people hit that 0 or O spot repeatedly unless they practice and they concentrate and narrow it down. Get rid of all the excess stuff that doesn't belong there. And what are you going to learn at this webinar on Tuesday, June 11th, or Thursday, June 13th? The 7 C's of communication. The art of the interview, not only giving an interview, but you, the host, being interviewed as well. And most importantly, mastering your people skills. Because if you cannot relate to people, they will not be able to relate to you. It's pretty much on that same adage. If you don't love yourself, nobody else will love you. Or if you don't like yourself, nobody else will like you. It's one of those really transparent things that one must keep in mind at all times. And if you really want to learn how to podcast, sign up at educate.passionateworldtalkradio.com/training masterclass. And there, during a 2-month daily program, you will learn the nuts and bolts of how to avoid the obstacles, and learn that podcasting is beyond just talking into a microphone or getting yourself on the air and opening your mouth and speaking. So come join me, Lillian Caldwell, veteran podcast host, 19 years and counting, and you will receive interactive training. Bring a partner along so you can practice with them, because they'll be critiquing you as well. Here are the information. Write down all your notes in a workbook. You're provided a workbook. One-on-one coaching/consulting with me. Hand-holding is necessary. Listening to the lecture, and yes, turning around and then producing what you've just learned, and then going home and repeating it. By the end of the course, you should have 3 podcasts put together, and you're given the opportunity to air your 3 podcasts on each 3 weeks. First one, first week, second one, second week, third one, third week. And then if you're still interested and really want to get going, if you've already gathered a small audience from our over 10 million, then you may want to do an internship for 3 months. And after the internship, if you're still interested, you can go out on your own, or you will be probably asked to join the ranks of PWTRN's passionate hosts. How does that sound? And you get a certificate of completion. But like anything else, once you start learning about podcasting, it doesn't stop. You will be continually trained and updated and informed about what you need to learn of how to be successful and empower your voice. So come join me at the Podcast Obstacle Certified Training Course. Thanks very much for the daily tip, and we'll see you on Tuesday, since Monday is Memorial Day. Thank you all. Have a great day.